Take a comfortable seat and pause for a few breaths, or come all the way down onto your belly as you're ready. As you're transitioning to the floor, you may pay attention to your hip flexors and your low back and any sensation or feedback that you may find there, especially if you sit a lot or maybe have been traveling a lot recently. Those areas could be tender as you ask the hip flexors to extend to make a long line with your body on the mat. So I'll join you and show you what I mean. So as you find your way here, again, pay attention, see how your low back feels. If this is a lot to ask of your low back today, I invite you to bring a pillow or a bolster, maybe a rolled up blanket or a rather thick roll, maybe multiple blankets under your hips or under your belly and chest, whatever might feel nice to give you a little bit of lift here so that your knees can kind of hang off of that surface, if that makes sense. So as you're settling in here, you may choose to point your toes and let the tops of your feet connect with the floor or the mat. Sometimes it takes a while for the system to settle and be comfortable, especially enough to let the face be pointed towards the floor. So you may choose to stay propped up on your elbows, as you see me doing here. I like to take them wide and kind of stack my hands, so I have a little pillow prepared for my forehead when I'm ready. Another option, if your hips and back are okay with it, could be to practice a mild variation of Sphinx pose, bringing your forearms to the floor and pointing your fingertips and palms of your hands forward in front of you as though placed on railroad tracks. So wherever you are, as you settle in here, I invite you to tune in to your breath. Can you just notice its sound as it moves in and out through your nostrils and mouth? You might notice all the places that your body connects with the mat, the tops of your feet, the tops of your thighs, your hips, your belly, your chest, maybe your elbows, forearms, hands. As you're ready, as you listen to this sound, you may choose to rest, maybe with your face turned to one side, or letting your forehead rest on your hands. You may notice the back of your neck, letting it be long, even if it's rotated to one side. An optional breath practice to begin here and to carry throughout your practice today could be to try ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath is the Sanskrit term for ocean breath in English. And so I invite you to explore making an ocean sound with your breath, with each inhale, kind of giving it a hug in the back of your throat, almost like a whisper on the inhale and the exhale. I like to think about the sound of an iron heating up before pressing clothing, kind of a steamy sound that it makes, or a tea kettle doing the same. There's no right or wrong here. Your breath might be a quiet whisper or maybe has quite a resonance in the space that you're in. Just pay attention and notice. And maybe that sound that you create with your voice, with your breathing, gives you kind of a staple to the present moment as you choose to move. Wherever you are, if you're ready to move, I invite you to bend one knee and bring your heel close to your hips as you flex your toes towards the lifted shin. And undo that as we find the other side, choosing to lift the other heel, flexing the other toes, letting this side be different. And choosing to move at a pace that serves your intention today, whether that's fast or slow. I like to think about a swimmer kicking feet to move through the water. And as you explore this movement, it might be very small. Maybe your feet just hover above the mat a little bit. You might choose to reach with effort with each heel towards the hip, maybe driving the top of the thigh into the mat as you do so. Notice the activation of the hamstring, of the glute muscle. Notice the strength of the quad muscle as it presses against the floor. And notice how the other side feels with similar activation. Can you find your breath again, noticing the sound? If you'd like more from this movement, as you lift one foot, you have the option to reach it towards the ceiling, maybe so much that the knee skims away from the mat. Notice the activation of the glute muscle to allow the lift of the thigh away from the mat. And choose how much you'd like from each variation, each iteration of this flow. And when you're ready, you might find stillness and rest here on your belly, noticing the comforting sensation of the weight of your body on the floor, creating soft pressure on your internal organs, activating the vagus nerve to stimulate a resting response in the nervous system. With a long breath in, you may choose to find your handprints under your shoulders and press your body up and away from the floor, maybe bringing your knees wide on the mat and your heels towards center as you settle your hips towards them behind you. I like to reach my handprints forward like a puppy that wants to play. Or sometimes it's nice to do as we did before with the elbows wide, stacking the hands to rest the forehead. This is child's pose. I invite you to take 3 to 5 breaths here. You may notice the expansion of your rib cage as it gives feedback on your lap. And as your heart melts towards the floor on an exhale. When you feel complete in your child's pose, I invite you to find your way onto your back into a supine position. Take your time getting there. Might be nice to keep both footprints on the floor with knees bent. As you take a moment to lie flat, noticing the support underneath your spine. Notice the difference between this sensation and the one that came before from lying on your belly. Choose to stay right here, or you have the option to lift one footprint towards the sky. It's okay if your knee does not become straight. You can keep it bent as much as you'd like. Maybe interlacing the handprints behind the thigh, you press your leg into your hands and your hands into your leg to extend your heel towards the ceiling. Can you find your breath here as you drive both hips into the mat, still lifting with your foot, kind of creating a dynamic movement here. Continue just as you are, or if you have a belt nearby, you have the option to stretch it out long and bending your lifted knee, bringing that belt or tie or whatever you may be using to the middle of your foot, maybe the arch of your foot or just around the ball of your foot. And then bringing the tails to one arm as you extend it long. Maybe you can reduce some of the effort required to keep this foot lifted for several more breaths. The intended benefit of this pose is to allow the weight of the leg with the assistance of gravity to settle the femur head into the hip socket while we allow the back of the leg to become long. You may notice your ujjayi breath, listening to the sound of the ocean wave as it continues to fill your chest and lungs and escape just as slowly. You may notice as the temperature and sensations in your toes changes from having them lifted. You may notice that you can drive your other foot into the mat to help ground your lumbar spine and lengthen it for support along the mat. Choose to stay here or shift your footprint just past the midline. Maybe your big toe and heel come to hover just over your opposite hip. Maybe as you take several breaths here, pulling on the belt while also pressing your foot away into the resistance of the belt. You begin to shift your footprint a little farther past the midline, but let yours look different than mine. All bodies make different shapes. Tune into your breath. Notice any extra sensation on the outside of your lifted leg, especially around the hip and the IT band as we lengthen it here. Keep flexing your toenails towards your face and reaching away towards the sky with your heel. Continue to breathe. Maybe make space in your jaw, creating space between upper and lower teeth. As you're ready, use the belt for assistance if you're using one. As you shift your foot back into alignment over the same side hip, you may choose to stay here, maybe bringing your hands behind the thigh again. Or you may use the belt for assistance as you shift the foot outward past the midline, maybe past the outer edge of the same side hip. Any amount. As you can see, if you're in a space like mine, you may be limited by a wall next to you. That's okay. You can turn around and make it so you have more space to open to the side if that's what your body needs. Or maybe having that support there is kind of nice as you lengthen and allow the inseam to experience some length and some support at the same time. Option to stay here, maybe sending that foot straight out to the side of the hip or bringing it closer to your head and your shoulder. Ooh, any amount. Notice how this shifts the sensation. Honoring any edges, boundaries. No need to force anything here or leverage the body against itself. We're not here to create pain. We're here to create strength and support and maybe some length. Another option here is to now bend your knee and lower your foot towards your shoulder on the same side. Maybe your belt is still helpful, or maybe bringing your elbow on the inside of the bent knee. You kind of wiggle that arm through there and bring the hand to the outside, the pinky edge of the foot. This is half happy baby. Keeping the other foot on the floor, we're still neutralizing the spine. So the lumbar is still hopefully rather flat against the mat. And most of the length we're creating is coming from the hip on the folded side. Whenever you feel complete here, you may release the strap from your foot if you haven't already, and choose to release that foot to the floor, maybe making it long and letting the foot hover above the mat before placing it on the floor. You might notice the difference between sides as you bend that knee and place that foot on the floor beside the other. As you're ready, choose to lift the other foot towards the sky. Notice any differences on this side again as you continue to glue your whole spine down on the mat. Invite a long breath in as you reach your heel towards the sky. Notice the activation at the top of the quad, the thigh. Continue flexing your toes towards your shin. You may choose to interlace your fingers behind your thigh and the hamstring. You may find the belly of the muscle, the kind of thick, active part of that long hamstring on the back of the thigh, and choose to press it with your interlaced fingers while also pressing into your handprints with the thigh. These are all just options, things to pay attention to and activate in your position, your pose here. I invite you to make this yours. Take care of yourself. Find your breath as you choose to stay exactly as you are, or incorporate a belt again if you have one nearby. An old necktie or a strong set of shoestrings perhaps might work as you choose to catch your foot in the middle of your assistive strap or belt or scarf here. And bringing both tails of that fabric into one hand, you may let the weight of your hand assist with bringing the ball of the foot towards your face. I invite you to continue reaching with your heel towards the sky, lengthening the whole back of your leg as you breathe in. Choose to stay here for one or more breaths. You have the option, when ready, to shift your footprint toward or past the midline. Maybe your big toe and your heel hover above the opposite hip. You may notice activation, sensation, maybe even tenderness on the outside of your thigh and hip on this lifted leg. As you activate the IT band, keep reaching with the heel, keep pulling the toes towards you with the active muscles of your thigh. And just letting your hand, the weight of your arm connected to your belt here, be the assistance to hold your leg in the air. So your abs aren't having to do much work here. You may continue pulling on that belt to create resistance as you press your foot into that connection point. And whenever you're ready, use that connection of the hip on the earth to bring your foot back through neutral and maybe shift it outward. Again, you may choose to practice next to a wall so you have support like you saw me demonstrate on the other side. Or as you see me do now, I like to bring the belt to my opposite hand so I can counterbalance if I choose to send that foot very far out to the side. Again, let yours look different from mine. You have the option to bring your hand kind of under the thigh or outside of the knee for support here, for extra support. Keep pulling the belt towards you as you press your foot into the belt. Notice that that changes how much lift is required in the leg. Keep flexing your toes and choose to come out when you're ready using any support needed with your hands, maybe your belt, to bring your foot back to 12 o'clock. Option to let the belt go as you bend your knee towards the same side shoulder. Maybe if that belt is helpful, you could bring it back and use it, or maybe your hand comes up to the outside of the pinky edge of your foot on this side, keeping the elbow on the inside of the knee. It's kind of a funny little wiggle and weave, but I bet you can make it work, whether using a belt or not. Also, a hand towel can be a nice way to give your foot a handle and create a little length, making this pose work for you, not the other way around. Notice your breath here and your half happy baby. Keep driving your other footprint into the mat to neutralize your spine as you find your ocean breath. Nice work. Whenever you're ready, you may release that foot, maybe scoot your belt or any other props aside as you choose to lengthen that foot along the mat.